10 underappreciated open world games you should really play. First that made it to our list, Hover. Fans of the Jet Set Radio should definitely check out Hover. This free running open world parkour game has a serious cool factor that's gone really underappreciated. There's a real style to Hover's aesthetics. From the eye-popping graphics of its alien world to the head-booping techno beats that help to keep the game's frantic momentum flowing. The mechanics in Hover are just so much to control, and when you are in the realm of the game, there's nothing quite like it. In brief, players take control of a band of young rebels fighting against the new anti-leisure laws operating the city. You'll use high-tech gear to jump and pole value around the city, sabotaging propaganda and helping citizens along the way. Originally released on PC, it was recently announced that Hover is making its way to PlayStation 4. So there's never been a better time to get interested in this often overlooked open world game. Kingdoms of Amalur, recognizing, yes, the fantasy genre has been done to death, but are there really that many open world fantasy games? You know, outside of the obvious Skyrim, Witcher, the Dragon Age series, is surprisingly limited, but you can certainly add Kingdoms of Amalur recognizing to this list. Forget everything you know about clunky action RPG combat or the frustrating process to have to level up before you can do anything cool. But this game makes the combat exciting right from the start, and it never lets up throughout the 60 or so hour experience. And outside of gameplay, there's a decent story and plenty of lore to keep you immersed in the action. Unfortunately, it is a previous generation game, so you will have to dust off your old hardware. Well, we are definitely hoping for the developer to remaster it and maybe have a sequel too, please. Next, Dragon's Dogma. Okay, there's actually one more fantasy open world game everyone should have on their list of favorites, Dragon's Dogma. Specifically, there is a revamped version of the game which launched last year. It is this gameplay, by the way. Dragon's Dogma is exciting because it's a Japanese game, but is typically dominated by Western developers. That means it's largely free. Many of the tropes we see crop up in countless Western RPGs, and it features some cool gameplay mechanics we just simply don't see in many other similar themed games. Take the dragon fighting mechanics for example. In Dragon's Dogma, you don't just slash to their legs until their health bar runs to zero. Oh no. Instead, you will have to grab into their legs and slowly climb up their backs, striking their head for massive damage as they obviously try to fly away. It's a spectacular stuff right there. And it really puts games like Skyrim and Dragon Age to shame. The massive world is equally impressive, with stunning cities and gorgeous vistas to discover as you walk through its 100 hours storyline. Next, Dying Light. Just when you thought zombie games were getting old, Dying Light made the whole thing cool again. This was a title that sort of blindsided us when it launched back in Q1 2015. It reviewed extremely well, and then developer kept fleshing out the experience, you know, with the new awesome content to put us back in. Dying Light put a new spin on zombie combat with its first person design and emphasis on both melee combat and free running. It's sleek to control, and the freedom of movement makes evasions. There's also a brilliant use of the day and night cycle, whereby things will get much more different at night. You really don't want to get caught far from safety after dark, but there's always that temptation to push a little more for suppliers and better gear. Dying Light's sequel comes out this year, hopefully, so now is the perfect time to tune in into its franchise. Next, 7. The Days Long Gone. The isometric RPG genre is old as the hills, and trying to make an impression in the space ruled by heavy-hitting franchise such as Diablo and Divinity Original Sin was never going to be easy. 7. The Days Long Gone tried its best to focus on parkour movement, stealth, and some inventive gameplay mechanics. Some of it worked, some of it didn't, but what we absolutely can say is that the game's open world, story, and lore are very compelling. If you are looking for a game that approaches open world design from a slightly different angle, and an immersive story that really sucks you in, 7. The Days Long Gone, yeah, I had to say it like that, is well worth checking out. Many of technical hiccups that dodged the game at launch have now been patched out, so the gameplay experience is going to be much improved. Be thankful. Next, Infamous Second Son. Infamous Second Son is often thought of as a series low point, but that's really only because the game bar was set too high by the first two games. There's still a lot of love for Second Son, but for one thing, the sublime open world of Settle, as well as the awesome gameplay that's easily the series' best. Seriously, if you have recently played the awesome Marvel Spider-Man and happen to be looking for a similar superhero experience, Second Son is where it's at. There's a similar deft balance between superb traversals and satisfying combat. And don't think just because it's from 2014, the graphics are going to be worse and very disgusting. Oh no, you are wrong. In fact, they're still among the PlayStation 4's best. Sure, the story and character might have been a slightly let down in Second Son, but overall experience is still worthy of the infamous name.
They're leaping.
Next, Sunset Overdrive. Developers on Insomniac Games were busy working on Marvel's Spider-Man. Their attention was fixed on an exclusive for a different system. Sunset Overdrive is an often overlooked Xbox One series that really deserves some love. This stylish open world shooter features the same brilliant moment mechanic as Spider-Man, except here you are hopping, skipping, vaulting, and grinding your way across the town rather than web swinging. It's a post-apocalypse zombie story. To enjoy that really comes alive thanks to the hilarious clever writing. The goofy sandbox is packed full of content too, and there is a satisfying progression loop that keeps you locked in. And overall, the color in the game is wow. Next, Batman Arkham Origins. Rocksteady's Batman Arkham series really changed the way we think about licensed games. It was one of the first time we have really seen AAA production values tied to superhero license, resulting in sublime gameplay and an aesthetic that totally nailed the tone of the source material. Yet despite being cut off from the same cloth, with respect to its design and standard of production, Warner Brothers Montreal's Arkham Origins isn't held in as a high regards. We think it's a big shame, and not enough people have enjoyed what is a truly excellent Batman game. There are still a lot of same wonderfully crafted and atmospheric level design, cinematic combat, and awesome takedowns. I'm serious, if you are looking for another superhero game, try this out. Next, Mad Max. Launching on the same day as Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain, Mad Max was always going to struggle to make an impression. It was easy to see why people might have skipped on playing it in favor of Hideo Kojima's Metal Gear Solid franchise. But if you are watching this nodding your head, I urge you to go and try Mad Max. It's a super underappreciated open world game that's well worth playing. Mad Max barren sandbox might be void of sort of things you'd find in other open world games, but the atmosphere and the athletics really capture the feeling of the movie it's based on. If you have seen the movie, let me know down in the comment section what was your favorite part. I loved the movie, like seriously. Anyways, moving on. And it features the same vehicle combat as the movie. This is such a hallmark of the franchise, which makes for really compelling gameplay. There's a ton of content to keep you occupied, as well as all manners of vehicle upgrades, weapons, and different gears to collect. Next, Sleeping Dogs. Before anything, yes, that's Bruce Lee. Sleeping Dogs might not beat Rockstar's quality, but it's more than a poor man's Grand Theft Auto. This Hong Kong flavored crime game packs plenty of its own charms thanks to the unique settings, memorable narrative, and some inventive gameplay mechanics. Particular praise has to be given to its awesome battle system, which puts a focus on bowling melee combat that feels somewhat like a Batman Arkham series. You get to strike double combos and then execute bloody finishing moves that often involve smashing into environmental objects. The open world can feel a little dated at times, especially next to the current gen offers, and you will probably find more enjoyment from engaging in the variety of missions rather than actually exploring the sandbox. Still, you might find a point of difference from modern open world games. In that case, the remastered Division edition makes returning to the unappreciated gen super easy. Anyways, that was my list for the top 10, unappreciated games out there. I hope you guys like at least one that will keep you company for I don't know how long. But yeah, and why not considering hitting that subscribe button, and also don't forget to hit the like button. It will honestly really mean a lot to me. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time on my next video. Bye, peace out.